Hey travelers, thanks for joining Mag and I here on day 92 of our trip around the United States. This morning we're getting things kicked off in New Rockford at the POW Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And I honestly can't think of a better way to start the day because let's be honest, you know that I love me some Veterans Memorials. Surprisingly, we made it almost all the way through our miles last night. We only came up 30 miles shy, and that's only because we found a great spot to stop off and be able to rest for the night. We got up with the sun and we started our day. Today we have 400 miles to cover, and we're going to be moving through the entire southeast portion of North Dakota. Even with the 30 miles we still have to tack on from last night, I don't see it being a problem for us to get through the miles today because it's really all kind of easy targets right off the side of the road. Much like yesterday, it's all traditionals and it's just a matter of moving through the counties and the pages. Hopefully now that we moved a little further south in North Dakota, we'll see a little bit more density in the geocaches. But either way, we're going to keep on moving with our target list, and we'll pick up a few extras here and there as we see something that might catch our eye, like a Veterans Memorial. We got a fantastic sunrise this morning, and that is making me feel great about what the day has to offer. Looking forward to seeing what North Dakota has in store for us over the next 4 days. So come on, let's go see it together. Let's go.
We don't always get to catch the sunrise, so it was very nice to be able to enjoy it while we made our way to New Rockford. Located right off of Highway 281, this is one of the most recognizable landmarks in town. The large stone in the center reads Vietnam Veterans Memorial, honoring all vets. It is flanked on one side by this Huey helicopter and on the other by an M47 tank, with the geocache hidden right between the two.
It really only takes the smallest hilltop to come across the most astounding views out here.
And the James River Church and Lutheran Cemetery happens to sit on a hilltop that affords a great 360 view all around. We were very pleased to have an opportunity to visit the November 33 Ronald Reagan Minuteman missile site. We have seen many of these missile sites over the years during our travels, but this is the first time we've been able to walk the grounds. At the height of the Cold War, there were over 1,000 Minuteman missiles in the U.S. nuclear inventory. In total, there were over 1,000 Minuteman silos and 100 corresponding launch facilities spread through Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, South Dakota, and Missouri. It wasn't until 1991 when the US and Russia finally reached an agreement to begin reducing these armaments. We can only hope that any of the remaining sites will never come into use. It was a relatively slow day of geocaching, mostly with micro park and grabs along the way. Every now and then we did come across a regular-sized geocache like this, and we were always more than happy to pop the top and get to check out all the swag inside. The vast majority of towns that we visited today had little more than a gas station, but we were surprised to see the Veterans Memorial when we got to Hope. One of the interesting things about this memorial is that the building in the back hosts an 1857 Napoleon cannon, the most widely used cannon of the Civil War by North and South forces. It is often pulled out to support parades and recognize touchdowns at local football games. Just as we had expected, the majority of our day was spent driving through grasslands and between farm fields. But interestingly, the southern portion of North Dakota features a lot more water features than the northern part did. There were many times today where we found ourselves driving between large ponds or being able to look out across lakes. All of these different bodies of water certainly helped to make the drive a little more interesting. Granted, we couldn't help but notice that some of these water features probably weren't intended to be there originally. It seems like they gave up on that house altogether. One of the biggest such features we came across today was Lake Hoskins in McIntosh County. This lake features 5.5 miles of shoreline covering a surface area of 574 acres. With an average depth of 8 feet and a maximum depth of 10 feet, it's never too far to reach the bottom of this lake. The historic marker on the southern shore marks the original site of Hoskins, the first settlement in McIntosh County established in 1884. After a very long drive, this spot also provided us a welcome opportunity to go hunt down a geocache. Since there is not an abundance of growth in North Dakota, it's usually only a choice of one bush or tree or the other to track down just about anything. This makes for significantly easier hunting than the woods of places like Minnesota and Michigan where we spent the last month, and it also helps us to keep moving along at a much quicker pace. Barney the Badger stood proudly in Wishek, letting us know that there was at least one geocache in town to find. Alright buddy, if you say it's here, we're gonna go find it. Thanks for the hot tip. Seriously though, with such large gaps between geocaches out here, it's very welcome when geocachers hide something in their small towns. Because there are so many towns out here without anything to find at all, which make for long stretches. The town of Judd, with a population of only around 60, really caught us by surprise. The name that it is more often known by is the City of Murals. All told, this town features over 21 murals spread across almost every single building in town. These impressive works of art can be traced back to the town's centennial event in 2005. At that time, all the residents got together and decided to do something special for the town. Now, visitors popping through can enjoy the town of Judd and get to know a little bit about its history through the artworks displayed on the buildings scattered around the area. And apparently it's working just as intended, because once I saw what this town had to offer, I couldn't help but stop and take a better look around at everything. You just never quite know which sleepy little town is going to be the one that is the gold trophy winner of the day. And today's is Judd, hands down. As for the best geocaches of the day though, those all came out of Napoleon. This geocache was so good that this mouse decided to take up residence. He took a vacation elsewhere though, while I busied myself signing the log. A little further into town, a birdie told me that there was a good one hiding on this pine tree, so I came to check it out. And wouldn't you know it, it operates just like a gadget. Pull the pin and out comes the prize. And then to top things off, we took a little trip to the ball field. It was obvious that this PVC pipe did not belong, and so we immediately targeted it for the geocache. What we didn't know is that the logbook was going to be one of the most unique we've seen. Batter up! Our day came to an end pretty much just where it had begun, directly in front of another veterans memorial. And more specifically, right there with another tank. Just as we had this morning, we enjoyed the chance to take a look around and honor our veterans. And what a great send-off to a great day here in North Dakota.
That brings a wrap to our second full day on the road here in North Dakota. And today was a lot like yesterday. A lot of fields, a lot of standard geocaches, and huge jumps between some of the caches. I'd find a geocache, and it'd be a 45-minute drive to the next one. I'd find that one, and it'd be a 45-minute drive to the next one. We're in Napoleon now, and I like the symmetry that we started this morning at Veterans Memorial, and we get to finish our day at a Veterans Memorial. We're only 2 jumps away from making it into Jamestown, which is our endpoint for the day, and we're clearly going to make that by the end of the day. We're just not going to make it by the time the sun goes down. We were able to catch up on the time that we'd lost yesterday and get ourselves right back on the schedule, maintaining that 1-day lead. And I like having that 1 day in the pocket. I think I'm going to keep it right there until the need arises. It's definitely evident why they call these the flyover states. There's really not much out here beside these fields. It's been an entertaining drive, but there's a reason we had 400 miles on the average day here in North Dakota, vice our regular 300 miles that we've had up until now. Because it's those big jumps with not a lot of geocaches between, and they're not in the woods either. They're really off the side of the road, because if you go more than 100 or 200 feet off the side of the road, you're into somebody's field at that point. You can't go any further. Not only that, but there's not a lot of distractions. When we go through the small towns, there's not a ton of veterans memorials like this one. Instead, it's kind of the one-horse town feel. You've got a bar, a local restaurant, a post office, and you blink and you're back out of the town again. And we must have passed through a dozen towns just like that today. Nevertheless, it's been a great day out here on the road. The weather's been in our favor. The geocaches we need to find have all been there, so we've stayed on track with getting our targets for the counties and the pages each step along the way. And that's all we can really ask for. We kind of knew what we were getting into here in the North Dakota area, and it's really just what we expected. We've still got 3 more days, so expect to see a lot more farmland views along the way, and maybe we'll get some little gems hidden here and there. There's only one way to find out. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.